Hi guys, I'm Shmi, and today I've popped out to Stratstone Aston Martin in Amersham, kind of the sister dealership to Western Avenue and Park Lane. So basically where my GT8 is going to get looked after when it comes in for its service in the future, that kind of thing. But the reason I'm here is because inside the showroom is a new Vanquish S. So we're going to head inside and take a look, because up to this point I've not actually filmed a Vanquish S at all. But firstly, outside, I'm just going to point out the rather lovely DB11 sat over there, and next to it, the Stratus White Vanquish as well. That is a very, very nice car. Now, I was hoping I was going to drive out in the GT8 today, but in fact, I've come in the Focus RS, which is tucked up there. And the reason for that is basically how horrendous the weather is here in the UK at the moment. And that is basically why so many videos I'm having to do inside, because I can't go anywhere. The weather is disgusting, and no one wants to get their cars out to go for a drive, kind of understandably, just like myself, not wanting to get it filthy and grimy sitting in traffic in rain like we have today. Certainly not in a nice new Aston Martin anyway. But we're going to head inside. I'm here also to chat to George, my salesman, who was at the collection day up at Gaydon at the factory. But we'll take a look at the new Vanquish S. The car is lurking just inside the door here then, but this is it, the new Aston Martin Vanquish S. I'm just going to take a little walk around it now, show you some of the details and features that have changed from the previous Vanquish, and hopefully we'll be able to hear it as well. But it's based around the familiar 6-litre V12, that beast of an engine from Aston Martin, but this time with 600 horsepower, 630 Newton meters of torque as well. So 0 to 62 miles an hour, 3.5 seconds and a top speed of 201. That basically makes it the ultimate super GT tourer. And it's available as a coupe and a volante as well. So a couple of features that you might immediately notice. Firstly, quad tailpipes, 2 on each side. That's different versus the former Vanquish. But you also have this accent pack, so it's completely reworked diffuser and front bumper too. In this case with the grey paintwork with the red accents, which look very nice. New wheel design as well, although I'm not entirely sure that would be my choice, but nonetheless, individual tastes. At the front, you've got this slightly more aggressive shaping to it as well, with the lower carbon fibre front splitter, with those sort of winglets at the end, and also a new grille, because the Vanquish used to have the slatted grille. Now it has this sort of Vantage style race car front carbon grille. Come and have a look at the inside. It's got a new type of quilting as well. Does look nice, doesn't it? Everything in here with the red stitch, even the quilted roof too. I think it's called Spirograph design. The 177 style steering wheel. Let me come around to the driver's side. Show you that. Such a nice touch. Everything about this is just super lovely, and it smells so nice as well. Completely brand new in here. It's the 2+2 seating configuration, so you kind of have these half seats in the back. They're not kind of real seats, but you can just about squeeze somebody in there. And point out the carbon fibre as well. It's this kind of natural rather than weaved carbon. So let's close that. I'm going to come back actually around to the passenger side because I want to open up the engine bay. Let me show you in there. After all, it is one of the absolute highlights. That's down there. Oh, that's new as well, having these grills in the slats on the bonnet rather than the mesh, and the mesh down here instead. So let's find the catch. There it is. Which way does it go? There we go. 6-litre V12. And I can assure you, that sounds amazing. And you get your final inspection plaques, where I have the CEOs on my car, which is really quite special. So look at this, carbon fibre. The whole bodywork on this car, every body panel is carbon, which is lightweight and makes it really rather special as well. Obviously you have the visible carbon on parts like the strakes and around the lower sections, but every panel is carbon, whether it's painted or not. So let's shut this back down. Clicked into place. I think it's time to grab the key and fire it up. Wow! That's a good noise. Rumble of the V12. It's a hard one to decide what's better between that and the FF. sounds like it wants to be angry. So it sounds rather awesome and it looks brilliant too, but a couple of other things just to point out. Firstly, carbon ceramic brakes, of course, plenty of stopping power for this thing. After all, you want that if you're going over 200 miles an hour. It's got the 8-speed Touchtronic III gearbox. The first Vanquishes had the 6-speed, that was upgraded midlife to the 8-speed, and obviously the Vanquish S has the newer gearbox too. But wouldn't it be rather nice to take it out? Unfortunately, that won't be happening today. This is a car that's not registered here in the showroom, but hopefully I can arrange something, a press drive at some point to give the new car a go. But for now, I have to say farewell to it and head off. Just before we go, a quick glance at this car, which is the Stratstone Mayfair dealership, one of one. It was built in 2014 to celebrate them being the best-selling dealership, and it has all of the red carbon around the car. Even here on the side strakes, which is rather nice. But I am now going to jump into the Focus RS and fire it up with my new Mountune exhaust system. Door pocket's full of packaging and stuff, but this does sound good. Oh yes. Oh dear. Right, I'm gonna get on the road and talk about some things after I filled it up. Well then, back on the roads, back enjoying the Focus RS with the new exhaust. Those pops are ridiculous. It is pretty wet and grim though, and I am so sorry that this has affected my videos recently, but the weather in Britain, I don't know what it is at the moment, but everywhere you go, every piece of tarmac and road is just muddy, like coated in this layer of grime, which means nobody wants to get cars out, and let's face it, for me, filming out in the rain is no fun either. So it's kind of affecting my videos, and I'm sorry about that, but hopefully, in the not too distant future, it's gonna get a little bit brighter and cheerier. But it was nice of Stratstone Amersham to let me come by, have a look at the Vanquish S. Like I said, I'd love to take one out for a drive. I think it would be an amazing car. That is obviously, that car's for sale, but way out of my price budget before anybody thinks I'm potentially looking at that car. Unfortunately not. But it was nice to catch up with George and the team and chat about things for the GT8 this year and getting it sent around, shipped and things, and other plans, stuff that you don't necessarily know about that's coming with the GT8. It's gonna be awesome, so stay tuned for it, as always. But yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit more about filming videos and how I'm doing lots of talking pieces at the moment. And it's a kind of thing that happens every year, because obviously in November, December, January, February, it's much, I guess, harder for me to be creative and come up with ideas for my video content. It's much harder to access cars. It takes much more to go and fly and film a car in another country, because if I go to Germany, for example, I could get snow, and that could mean that I can't then take a car out on the road. Companies might not let me. It doesn't make the best video anyway. So it's really, really hard to keep producing kind of daily content, daily videos. Obviously, I will always try and do my best to try and find things. We spend a lot of time talking to different companies and things all the time, literally every day, to try and work out what could be on the agenda. But obviously shuffling in also stuff that's under embargo, so videos I have to film and then put out later, which is something I know that people know I do on Instagram, but unfortunately, if I've delayed it, it means I had to. I wasn't allowed to post it out sooner, otherwise I would have done. So although I can go and visit places like here, and some test drives around and about, unfortunately it's very difficult to do something every day, which is why I started the Fuel for Thought series. Just a way for me to, I guess, talk a little bit more about some of the deeper questions about cars and things people, or my experiences and the costs, and more about the ownership, and I think people are enjoying that. So in general, I apologise for the slight overload of content at the moment. That might be me doing exactly what I'm doing right now, waffling on a little bit, but I think sometimes it's quite nice to talk to you. There are a lot of you out there. This year should be the 1 million year. That's going to be coming up to 1 million subscribers in a couple of months. Just for... Oh yes! It's quite addictive. It's very fun in this car. Now with the new Mountune kit. So yeah, it's an exciting year. There's a lot happening. Everybody keeps asking me what I'm going to do for 1 million subscribers, and at this point I'm afraid I have no idea. We're trying to float some things, but at the end of the day I don't know when it's going to be. It might come in the middle of a road trip, it might come perfectly in line with the delivery of a car. We will just have to wait and see, but either way it's going to be awesome. Well, I mean, it already is awesome. There are 920,000 odd of you out there, so thank you very, very much. I really appreciate it. But I'm going to head back now. I've got a lot of stuff coming right up. As I said, next trip is literally about to start, so stay tuned for what am I going to be doing. I'm catching up with AMG. I'm going to be visiting Volterbach, the home of AMG, driving a new C63S, because I've not driven one up to this point. Then I'm going to be driving the new Panamera 4S with race chip, so it's not so standard either. Then what else is on the agenda? I'll be taking that into the Alps, to the French Alps, where I'm going to hopefully do some fun stuff. We'll see. Maybe a bit of skiing. Well, I'll be skiing. Maybe some videos of skiing. And then I've got a couple of other places to visit as well. So there's lots of cool content coming. And that ends basically just in time for the Geneva Motor Show, I think. No, I say that. There's actually more trips abroad before then. Goodness, it's going to be a busy schedule. Anyway, I'll be sharing it all with you as always. I'm going to pull in right here because I need some petrol. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'll catch up with you again very soon. Cheers!